Hi, I'm Allegra Knight, and you are watching GoTarryn TV. When we come back, we'll be talking about life with Lyme disease.
Hey everybody, happy Tuesday, May the 12th. Welcome to today's GoTarryn TV show. As you can see, I'm Taryn the Traveling Trainer, and we are welcoming Allegra Knight side by side here. Allegra, thank you so much, and welcome for being here on GoTarryn TV.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate your time.
The pleasure is all ours, and we're truly excited to have you. Let's catch everybody up to speed on how you and I connected. And again, this interview is going to be pretty gritty and real because this is the very first time I'm talking to you and face to face. Meeting you for the first time. I met you through a mutual friend of ours, one of my clients, Erin. And Erin, if you're watching right now, which I'm sure you are, hello. And Erin's one of my favorites. She's awesome. So I'm so happy she was able to hook us up and link us together because you're going to be talking about an issue and condition that I have absolutely never talked about here on GoTarryn TV. And in fact, a lot of viewers out there are probably going to be pretty interested because you're going to learn a lot. For those of you watching right now, it's going to be very informative. We'll be talking about Lyme disease. And so, Allegra, let's let you take it away. I'm going to ask you, please go ahead and tell all viewers a little bit about yourself and introduce yourself and how we got here, and then just jump right in on how you feel comfortable talking about it.
Well, so my understanding is you learned about me through Erin when I challenged her to the Lyme Disease Challenge,
That's right.
which I hope all of your viewers will do.
Yes.
Suck a lime, take a picture of it, donate $10 to iLads, tag 3 friends, similar to the Ice Bucket Challenge, but so much more pleasant. So Erin tagged you and you were asking about it, and you were like, hey, I'd like to actually talk to her. This, or at least that's my understanding. So I was always a very healthy person. I had a horse farm in Maryland, and we don't know when exactly I contracted Lyme disease. Back in 2006, I was having memory issues, migraines, dizziness, went to the doctor. He tested me for everything: Lyme, MS, lupus, RA, like all those autoimmune type things. I tested negative for everything. I was very lucky. My doctor didn't tell me that I was crazy, that I was depressed, that it was all in my head, but he did say that without knowing what I have, he can't treat me, and that the only thing I could do was to go home and continue with my life. The following spring, I started having chronic fatigue, but I was working 60 plus hours a week in a boiler room type sales job, plus running my horse farm. So you don't get to like lay in bed and give up and whatever. And until June 2nd of '07, when they took me out of Union train station telling me I was having a heart attack.
Oh, wow.
They did not take me to the rich person hospital. So 7.5 hours later, they diagnosed me with a bladder infection and treated a bladder infection. Within a month and a half, I had to quit my job. I ran a fever for 28 days straight. It took over 2 months for them to finally properly diagnose me with Lyme disease. And by that point, I had lost my life. I ended up being bedridden for a year and a half. I lost my short-term memory. All I could do was lay in bed and watch Law and Order, because you don't need short-term memory to watch Law and Order, because it's like, what's happening? Oh, I can figure it out.
Wow.
Yeah, so I could barely make it to the restroom unassisted. My quality of life was miserable. And one day I was laying in bed and I was like, well, forget this. Okay, I may have used some non-PG language. But and I was like, I'm going to graduate school. I've always wanted to go to graduate school, and I realized that while people can die from Lyme disease,
Hmm.
I was not one of those people that I was necessarily on death's doorstep,
Hmm.
but I did realize the finite nature of Lyme and how important it is to not put things off. And so I worked really hard. I worked with a neuropsychologist. I started doing therapeutic yoga.
Mm.
And we started with just me laying on the ground and Heather moving my limbs.
Mm. Mm.
And stepped up to doing that 3 times a week. Then I was able to add in Pilates. And I applied to 3 graduate programs. I got into one of my first choice programs, which was Emory,
Mm.
Candler School of Theology. Um, did I say that it was the reason I had decided to go to graduate school was because from the time I was 18, I'd always wanted to study religion at the graduate level, and I'd
Okay.
always kind of put it off. I was
Sure.
like, "Oh, I'll do that after my career, after I have kids." It was
Hmm.
one of those things you just are always like, "Oh, I'll get to it later," and
Hmm.
and I realized there really isn't a later. Later isn't necessarily guaranteed. So, so I got into Emory, and last May I graduated with my master's in theological
That's
studies.
awesome. Yeah.
So yeah, it took me 5 years. It's a 2-year program,
Hmm.
but when you consider the fact that I had to through the course of it, I had to withdraw several times in the middle of the semester when I would get pneumonia,
Hmm.
and I had microstrokes and wasn't really able to read or write for a while. But I was doing neural feedback at this point, which was really helping me and helped me regain a lot of my cognitive function
Hmm.
and helped me get through that. And then so yeah, so I graduated, and then I was like, oh, I'm gonna a bunch of years ago, I was in my Lyme doctor's office, and like American Ninja Warrior was just coming back on TV, and I was like, I'm gonna do American Ninja Warrior, and he's like, okay, Allegra. But this year I did actually apply for American Ninja Warrior.
Yeah.
It looks like I was not cast, which is okay.
Yeah.
Uh, uh, I saw on Instagram earlier today that at 4:30 in the morning they were still filming the Orlando segment, which meant that would have been a lot of stress on my Lyme body.
Hmm.
But if I get the call and they want me to do Pittsburgh, I will totally step up my game and I will give it my all, and I will do it. But and a lot of people are like, okay, Allegra, why would you want to do American Ninja Warrior?
Huh.
And I want to do it to show people that no matter the reason, you can keep fighting.
Yeah.
I was bedridden for a year and a half. I lost my short-term memory, and I dug down deep and I found the strength. There were some days that my pain was so bad I didn't know if I could keep going.
Oh,
Uh,
wow.
and I would make this deal with myself. Okay, just make it one more second. You can make one more second, and the second would be up, and I'd be like, okay, we can do one more second. And I know that it's not just people suffering with Lyme disease. It
Hmm.
can be depression. It can
Hmm.
be chronic fatigue. It can be cancer. There's all these reasons that people are suffering, and I want to show people that they can keep going, that they
Hmm.
don't have to give up. And I got when I sent the application off, I got all these emails and messages saying what an inspiration I was, and that totally wasn't my thought when I applied originally. But then it really shifted my intent from being on myself to being there for everybody else. And so I'm really hoping to help inspire people to keep fighting the good fight.
Hmm.
And I'm in the process of restart. I had a vlog when I was in school, but um, last year was a really bad year as I was finishing up school, and I sold my horse farm and I bought a house, and
Hmm.
so I hadn't really updated it for a year. but I've got a bunch of posts ready to hit the interwebs, and so really focusing on helping to be an inspiration and help people, and be that role model, I guess. It's kind of weird, me being a role model. For those who knew me growing up, they're probably like laughing right now, but
Oh, that's too funny. Well, speaking of someone that knows you that's probably watching, how did you and Erin meet each other? How do you know her?
we go to a Unitarian Universalist congregation together.
Gotcha. Right.
So, um, in the South, they don't like calling themselves a church, but so yeah, I've been a UU for since my teens.
Good.
I can't do the math. I don't want to do the math. A long, long, long time. But so yeah, so several of my classmates at Candler interned at UUCA. So I started attending there, and uh, have made really great community there.
That's awesome. I have another, you may know, mutual friend of Aaron's. He's one of my clients. His name's Bob O'Hara. He might be watching now too, but he goes to that church as well. So,
Oh,
yeah.
I actually don't know Rob, but Rob, if you are watching this, come find me after services and introduce
That would
yourself.
be good. Yeah, you can't miss him. He's pretty interesting. But yeah, he's really good.
Everybody at UUCA is pretty interesting. It's
Well, so this is really good information. Let's get back, I guess, to the Lyme disease. Can you tell us about the challenge that you were referring to when we first were talking? Tell everybody out there what that. So, I mean, that was just really interesting when you were mentioning, because again, the ice bucket challenge. Everybody knows what that is, but for the people who need to be educated on Lyme disease and are more interested, in learning more about it, what can you tell them about that?
well, so with the ice bucket challenge, we several people. I wasn't involved in the planning
Hmm.
necessarily, but so a group people with Lyme disease sometimes call themselves Limeys. So a group of Limeys got
Limeys.
together,
I like that.
and when the ice bucket challenge went viral, and we're like, hey, what can we do that would be similar but not directly copying,
Yeah.
but kind of like learning from their successes, and so how can we do this for to raise awareness for us, and one of the things that the planning group really focused on was not stepping on the tail of the ice bucket challenge. So they launched it in March
Oh,
of
okay.
this year. So letting the ice bucket challenge do uh, go go along its own course,
Sure. Yeah.
and live its own lifespan without us like stomping it down. But
Yeah.
so it was launched in March. We started getting a little bit of momentum. Yolanda Foster is one of the Real Housewives of Ocean Orange County.
Orange County. Okay. Hmm.
I should know that. So she also has Lyme disease,
Oh, okay.
and so and she's been so tremendous in helping us gain traction.
Good.
But about a month or so after we had launched it, Avril Lavigne came out
I heard
saying
that.
she had Lyme disease and
Yep.
was on the cover of People magazine.
Yep.
And
Hmm.
I mean, I am so sorry she's going through this, but when I tell you, publicity wise, the timing could not have been better.
Hmm. Hmm.
It really helped us. When she was on the cover of People, then the Dr. Oz show picked it up, and
Hmm.
Dr. Oz has been tweeting about it, did the Lyme disease challenge, and has been really helpful in raising awareness.
Yeah.
There, a lot of local news programs have done it. Obviously, the Real Housewives have been getting on board doing it. But there's still a lot of people that haven't heard about it.
Hmm.
So obviously we need more work, more awareness. I know I tagged my rock climbing gym a few weeks ago, and
Hmm.
they hadn't stepped up. So I brought a big Costco bag of limes into the gym this morning. I was like, "Hey, I tagged you. You haven't done anything. I'm gonna make it easy for you." So hopefully Stone Summit will do something really fun. There's some really fun, interesting posts about it. Some videos, some silly pictures, some serious pictures. I'm hanging upside down on a rock climbing wall in my picture. So similar to the ice bucket challenge, you have lime. Either actually take a bite of it, pretend to take a bite of it, um, either via picture or video. Tag 3 friends, post it to social media, and then donate $10 to iLads.
All right. And
So
what is the iLads website in case for the people watching?
it it's super easy. www.ilads.org.
Okay.
I'm going to
Yeah.
confirm that
Yeah, just in case. Yeah, could be.
just in
Yeah,
case.
I'm sure it's one of those things. If you Google it and if it comes
Dot
up,
org. I was
you had it
right.
right. There you go. So
So
www.ilads.org. I'll check that out. Very good. So anybody watching who's interested, there you go. And I say we should take it a step further. Anybody watching this video blog today, we should automatically tag every single one of those people to do the Lyme challenge. I think that would be perfect.
definitely,
Well,
definitely.
Allegra, you probably know more than this disease, and I'm sure again, since when you found out you're diagnosed, about it. So, what else can people watching right now take away? What can you tell them that they're watching right now?
So I don't know, like geographically where your most of your viewers are.
Hmm.
If they are up in the Northeast, if you think you have Lyme disease, you probably have Lyme disease,
Mm.
and your doctor may or may not acknowledge that you have Lyme disease. I had a really good girlfriend who worked on a horse farm, kept going into her doctor saying, I have Lyme disease. He said, no, you have the flu.
Mm.
3 times she went in, 3 times he treated the flu. She ended up in the ER, hospitalized for a few days, if I recall correctly.
Mm.
And this was in Maryland, in one of the epicenters of Lyme. And so we need doctor education,
Mm.
we need patient awareness. Um, there's a lot of doctors that deny that there's Lyme in Georgia. A good friend of mine, her roommate got bit by a tick hiking a couple weeks ago, and she's like, "Does he have Lyme disease?" I don't, in Georgia, I don't know.
Mm.
Um, but you have to be so vigilant,
Yeah.
and it's so check for ticks, wear protective clothing.
Mm.
Where I am not a big fan of DEET, but wear wear insecticide that will protect you from ticks. Make sure
Mm.
that it protects you from ticks.
Mm.
Um, you know, uh, e- Learn about it. Donate to iLads. So there's a statistic that there are more than 6 times more new cases of Lyme disease each year than
Mm.
HIV, but we receive less than 1% of the funding.
Mm.
So right now there's no good test for Lyme. So remember, I tested negative for Lyme initially. Um, there Lyme is the great mimic.
Mm.
It looks different in each person and behaves differently in each person. For it seems to hit what's weakest in you. So for me, I grew up with bad knees and a learning disability, and so these were the areas that the Lyme hit. If you have grew up with a heart condition, it's going to affect your heart. If you grew up with like asthma or things like that, it's going to do whatever is the weakest part of your body, that's what it's going to hit. So it's like if
Mm.
you go in, a good friend of mine, her father had like UTI issues, and he almost died of kidney failure.
Mm.
But
Mm.
that's not necessarily typical. So
Yeah.
it's, so he was almost dead before they realized that it was being caused by Lyme disease. So
Mm-hmm.
it's what we really need is awareness and funding to so that we can get solutions. And now, um, so, somebody told me not to donate blood, but not all these people with these tick-borne diseases are advised not to donate blood. So now this is hitting the blood banks and it's going to start being spread via transfusion potentially. Not a doctor, not making any medical statements. um, disclaimer. But but it makes sense. If it's in your blood, it could be passed via blood transfusion. So is this answering your question?
Perfect. No, this is good. I think there's a lot of information for the people watching. That the last 20 minutes, I've learned more about this than I knew about it initially. So this is really good. You had mentioned about the blogging too, Allegra, and that's a great segue here as we're wrapping this up to summarize. We're going to have it on the screen here in a bit, but you do a blog, I understand.
I do. It's called Liberation Through Lyme.
Uh-huh.
And while I don't think I would choose to go this path, in a lot of ways it's made me a better, stronger person
Okay. Hmm.
because of it. And so I have no regrets. So
Good.
it initially started out as a blog talking about this my journey through Lyme
Yeah.
and so
Good. Excellent. Well, I'll tell you what, I have thoroughly enjoyed this interview with you, and I think the people watching too. This is very good, insightful information. I'm so happy to have gotten you on here. When we wrap up here, folks, you're going to be seeing Allegra's website link right there on the screen. We're going to have that for you so that you can go to her blog and make sure that you can read them and check her out. So, Allegra, is there anything else you'd like to say before we wrap it up here tonight?
keep fighting the good fight. No matter what it is that you think you can't overcome, you can.
Love it. Well, again, I think what you said, just now epitomizes everything, what it's all about. And earlier, what you said too about, not giving up, not quitting. I think that's really, really remarkable and admirable. So, I just think that's wonderful. It's been very refreshing to talk to you here and have you on GoTarryn
Thank you.
TV. Yeah, and I'd love to have you back on here again, so that way we can follow up and see how everything's going. And by the way, good luck with the American Ninja Warrior. We'll be pulling for you and rooting to see you on that show. I think that'd be really cool. So
It would be really awesome to get selected.
yeah,
We'll see. Maybe your this interview will help me get
you
on.
never
Who
know.
knows?
Yeah, we're gonna try to get the like you said, word out and fight the good fight. I think that's
Awesome.
awesome. Yes.
Thank
Well,
you.
Allegra, thank you so much for coming on today. Again, truly appreciate. Enjoy the rest of your Tuesday, everybody watching. As we fade to black here comes Allegra's blog, and so get a pen and paper ready so that you can take it down. And Allegra, we'll see you very soon, right back on here on our next Skype call.
I look forward to it. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, Allegra. Take care. All right, folks, here we go. All right, folks, so there you have it, Allegra Night, and there you had the information on the WordPress blog, too. So, some very, very good information there, and there you have it. You learned all you need to know about Lyme disease and more, and we're going to have her back on here to talk more about it, and thoroughly enjoyed that interview and just had a great time. So, there you have your special Skype interview call here on this Tuesday. So, I hope rest of you folks enjoy the rest of your Tuesday. Get out there, learn more about Lyme disease, and why don't you accept the challenge? We just called you out. Allegra and myself called you watching right now. If you have not done it, then you are officially called out. Get your Lyme, suck it, and then donate your $10 to the ilads.org website. And the other stuff that you could do in the meantime is check out this website right here, www.gotarryn.tv. And I urge you to bookmark that as a favorite to your web browser right now and tell 2 people about it today so that they could do the same thing. Some other few things that you can do before I let you go. I'd like you also to like GoTarryn on Facebook, subscribe to GoTarryn's YouTube channel, and follow GoTarryn on Twitter. And until I see you guys next time, enjoy the rest of your week. Get out there, have fun, enjoy this beautiful May weather that we're having in the greater Atlanta area. And until I see you guys next time, remember, with GoTarryn Personal Training and Tarryn the Traveling Trainer, the master of the personal training universe, it's your time, it's your investment, it's your life. Happy Tuesday, everyone. So long.